Imagine a man who has everything the world defines as success. He is the commander-in-chief of a powerful army, a hero in the eyes of his king, and a figure of immense wealth and prestige. When he rides through the streets of Damascus, the crowds part in respect. But beneath the polished bronze of his breastplate, there is a secret he cannot hide for much longer. His skin is marked by the pale, numbing patches of leprosy. In the ancient world, this was more than a disease. It was a slow, social death sentence. The most powerful man in Syria is, in his most private moments, utterly powerless. To understand Naaman's dilemma, we must look at the geopolitical landscape of the 9th century BC. Syria, or Aram as it was known, was a dominant regional power, often in conflict with the northern kingdom of Israel. As we read in the second book of Kings, chapter 5, the two nations existed in a state of uneasy tension, marked by border raids and shifting alliances. Naaman was the architect of Syria's military victories, yet his condition placed him in a desperate position. Leprosy carried a heavy stigma across the Near East, though perhaps less ritualistically rigid in Syria than in Israel. Nevertheless, for a man whose life was defined by physical strength and public command, the encroaching decay of his own body was an irony he could not ignore. The path to Naaman's healing began in the most unlikely of places, with a child. During one of the Syrian raids on Israel, a young girl had been taken captive and brought to serve Naaman's wife. In the Good News Bible, we are told that she said to her mistress, "I wish that my master could go to the prophet who lives in Samaria. He would cure him of his disease." It is a testament to Naaman's desperation that he took the word of a slave girl seriously. He sought permission from the king of Syria, who sent him to the king of Israel with a formal letter and a staggering amount of wealth: 30,000 pieces of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 sets of fine clothes. When the king of Israel read the letter, he was terrified, fearing it was a political trap designed to provoke a war. However, word reached the prophet Elisha. According to chapter 5, verse 8, Elisha sent a message to the king, saying, "Why are you so upset? Have the man come to me, and he will learn that there is a prophet in Israel." Naaman arrived at Elisha's house with all the pomp and circumstance of a royal envoy. He expected a dramatic encounter, perhaps a ritual, a grand gesture, or at the very least, a face-to-face meeting with the man of God. But Elisha did not even come out to greet him. Instead, he sent a messenger with a simple instruction: "Go and wash 7 times in the Jordan River, and you will be completely cured." Naaman was incensed. His pride had been wounded. He had expected a performance that matched his status. As we read in verse 12, he complained bitterly, "I thought he would at least come out and survive me. Aren't the rivers Abana and Pharpar in Damascus better than any river in Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be cured?" He turned and left in a rage. The story shifts not because of a miracle, but because of a conversation. Naaman's servants approached him with a calm, logical appeal. They suggested that if the prophet had asked him to do something difficult or heroic, he would have done it without hesitation. Why then refuse a task simply because it was easy? Naaman paused. The weight of his pride was weighed against the weight of his illness. He chose to listen. He went down to the Jordan River, a river that, compared to the majestic waters of Damascus, was often muddy and unremarkable. According to the narrative in verse 14, Naaman dipped himself in the water 7 times. When he came up the 7th time, the text describes a transformation that was more than skin deep. His flesh became as healthy as a little child's. Naaman's story concludes with a man who is physically healed, but more importantly, a man who is humbled. He returned to Elisha, not as a demanding commander, but as a grateful petitioner, acknowledging that there was no God in all the world except in Israel. When we reflect on this account, we see a profound truth about the human condition. Naaman's greatest obstacle was not the leprosy on his skin, but the pride in his heart. He almost missed his restoration because it didn't look the way he expected it to look. He wanted a grand spectacle, but he was offered a muddy river.
The historian observes that Naaman's healing required him to strip away his armor, his titles, and his expectations. It suggests that often the things we seek, peace, healing, or clarity, require us to first let go of our need to be in control. Naaman's journey from the palace of Damascus to the banks of the Jordan serves as a quiet reminder that humility is often the threshold of change. It is only when we are willing to step down from our chariots and wade into the common waters of life that we find ourselves truly made whole.
If you enjoyed this story, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. There are many more stories from Scripture over Tea still to explore. You can also turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if this story meant something to you, feel free to share it with someone else. Thank you for listening.